as we kind of close up this video, let's talk a little bit about alternatives to getting fucked up, because I feel like when I was young, there was a million different things you could do. You could go roller skating, you could go play pool. I mean, there's still these things, but it just seems like so much of our modern culture is just like work clubbing, like that's it, or drinking. Everything has to involve drinking and drugs. And I think that that's a sad statement about where society is right now. So if it's not where we want to be, then what is the alternative? And I think it's getting out there, getting into nature. Like I have a lot more fun riding a horse, or we were talking about golfing, right, last night.
There's so many other natural things you can get that same high from. And I'm not going to say, obviously, the same thing golfing for me would be the same for her, be the same for you, or vice versa. Yeah. Everyone's going to have to have their own things, but that's the amazing part about it, is we do all have our own things, and we have to go and find those things. They're not just going to be put in front of us. I've tried so many different things in life, from skateboarding, snowboarding, skiing, a million different things. And yes, I do get bored of those things, but that's why I always try new things all the time and keep your mind open to those things. And it gets a little bit more extreme, I guess, when you're older, skydiving, stuff like that. That's not for everybody, like I said, though. But everybody has their niche and things, but you can definitely find those same highs.
Well, a balance, right? Like, I mean, you can say on a weekend, I'm going to go skiing, and then, I'm going to go out for a nice dinner, and then plan, a beautiful canoe down the river and a horseback ride and making a good meal. It doesn't always have to be like so big, so grand. It's nice to have the big, grand skydiving things, but that's kind of, again, in line with that ideology of we don't always have to be like level 10.
Oh, 100%.
And it's when we kind of integrate and interlace the quiet times with the exciting times and pre-plan things. Pre-planning I love, because if you know what's on your calendar, you also don't fall into this trap of like, oh, well, these people that are kind of my fringe friend group over there are doing this crazy thing at this rave, so yeah, I'm going to go. And then you get stuck in an environment that you really didn't plan for, and now you're in the tailspin of whatever energy those people that are acquaintances that you might not know have.
Yeah, keep that positive schedule, start planning things in advance, know what you're doing, because like you said, if you get into that situation where you've got nothing going on and you're bored and you look to the left and look to the right and your friends are just partying, then of course that's the thing that you're going to go and do or want to do. So yeah, create a schedule. It doesn't have to be anything too big. I just want to go on this small hike, or I want to go check out this cool looking structure, or go for a dinner, or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be small, whatever it is for you, but just pre-plan it so you're not like, oh, I got nothing to do and I'm gonna go party now, because that's just creating an excuse for you to go and party, right? So
100%. And also like doing what you like, your creative essence. Like I paint, I dance, I anything to do with construction, building things, painting doors, whatever it is. I love being in a creative space, just cranking the music and doing me. And I think there's a lot of people that want to do them, but then they don't actually do it. Like they buy the stuff and they put it out, but then
many times.
Right?
Yeah, it's crazy to see how many people invest into programs, equipment, whatever it is, and they want to do it. They say like, I want to do it. This is now. But when the time comes, they pay for everything. It's sitting right in front of them. It's just like they never had that conversation before. It's out the window. So I think it's maybe, what do you think? Like maybe a lack of self-confidence, a lack of self-drive, maybe like not used to something that big for.
I think it's fear. So let's say you buy like a DJ set and you're going to try to, learn the turntable.
It's a lot of buttons and stuff like that.
It feels overwhelming. And also people think, well, am I going to get judged? Like I have decided I want to sing. I was always a singer when I was little, and so I bought myself a karaoke machine on the weekend. I'm going to sing. And a lot of people be like, oh my God, what the hell are you doing at 40 trying to sing? And it's not that I'm trying to be the next pop star. It's just something I want to do. And I've always had this energy of like, it doesn't matter what it is, I'm going to do it. And I don't give a fuck what people think about me.
100%.
And you have to have that. You have to have that spirit of, it doesn't matter what the world is going to say about you, because they're going to say stuff. People are going to put you down. People are going to say like you sing like a cat, or
Yeah, the greatest singers in the world have haters. Like no matter who you are or what you are, you're always going to have conflict, and it's dealing with that. And on a personal standpoint, I'll see, negative comments on Facebook or Instagram and stuff like that. And creating the tools or the structure, or just the belief within yourself to not feed into that shit.
Yeah, don't look at it. I mean, Tegan knows. I have so many videos up and the people say the craziest shit about me.
No, and I want to go on there and start saying stuff, but it's like having that in you to understand, like, no matter who you are and what you are, you're always going to have that. So you could feed into it all you want, but no matter who you are or what you are, you're always going to have it. Right?
And here's my perspective on it, is that anytime somebody says something kind of nasty about me online, I'm just like, oh, I'm so sorry you're feeling that way. Like, you're obviously in a hurt state, and it's not, that's a hard place to be, because I've never criticized anybody. I've always seen the light of all human beings that I've looked at. And it's such a positive energy when you look at others and just say, hey, that's quirky, that's different. I wouldn't necessarily do it that way, but hey, that person's doing that.
Yeah, and if you are going to feed into it, put your positive energy into it. Don't dump the same that they're dumping, because that's what essentially you're being tested for. Are you going to be like them, or are you going to be better than that? Yeah. So you're being also tested in the same situation. Your energies will go up based on that too. Like, if you're going to feed into their same energy, then you're going to go down to their energy. If you're going to be better than their energy, then you'll stay at that highlight, right?
And celebrate other people. There's the kaleidoscope of our human family. Thank God we're all different. Thank God we all don't do the same things. That's what makes the world beautiful. So I always look at it and I celebrate diversity. I celebrate everything that is unique to each person. And when you can do that authentically, then you can begin to start to realize that I can celebrate myself. I don't have to know all the pieces of the puzzle. I don't have to know all the notes. I can just sing because I feel like singing today, or I can just, dance because that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And step away from the fear. If you are taking up a new hobby, let's say it's skiing, and you're starting on the bunny hill, who gives a shit if you're not perfect with the way that you're skiing? Just get out and do it, and enjoy the experience. And horses have these little blinders. I've got a ranch, so I'm going to use a horse reference, but they have these little blinders and they don't see what's around them, and that is what makes the horse feel very safe. So I always envision when I'm doing something, I put on my blinders. I don't care about what's going on around me. I'm just going to be really in my own energy, and I'm going to love the exploration of seeing if I can even do something. I may not be able to. Lots of things I've tried I'm like real bad at, and I let that go. It's not for me. I'm not going to be the next baseball star. I know that. Tried it. Didn't go well for me. But still, that's the whole joy of living, is to try and to jump into different costumes and see what fits.
Yeah, just stop being so selfish, all of us, because at the end of the day, we are our own judges, and we just go to these things and diversity and stuff like that, and everybody's so fearful of just trying new things or being themselves. They're like, they would rather just copy what's already there than to try their own thing. And that's a big thing. That's why you see people, all getting the same hair, wearing the same things. You see the trends and stuff like that, is because it's just comfortable. And then, like, I like to do different things. I'll wear like 2 different colored shoes and stuff. People are, they think it's cool, but they're like, what? Because it's so different, and they're not used to that. But when you do that, you're like throwing these things in there. People are just so caught off guard because they're so used to the same things. It's funny.
No, it's good. It's good to just be you, whatever it is that's you. And I know for you, Tegan, you're super crazy creative. Like, the stuff that you come up with, it's just nuts. And I know you've heard over and over from your friends and everything that, you're going somewhere, right? You've just got an eye, but let's kind of define that, because there's a spirit behind it. There's a way that you are. So explain Tegan.
So yeah, kind of having the knowledge of knowing where I'm going was a huge blessing in itself. But now, just because I know where I'm going is like, okay, now I can just sit there and not do anything because I know where I'm going. That really gave me the fuel to be like, okay, how can we make it that much better? And in that time, change lives while we're getting to that point. So whether it was my brothers and sending him to Bali and stuff like that, or meeting Barb and meeting all the people that I have, and just like people touching my lives, touching their lives and stuff like that. And from a spiritual sense though, because I've met a lot of people that are just like friends, and I have a lot of those, but then there's like very small people that we have that are like on a different mindset, not a different level, not better, not worse than anybody, just thinking on a different mindset, so on a higher frequency. And then we've kind of all just come to the terms of like, we know where we're going, but how can we change the lives of others while we're getting there?
Okay, so we're gonna wrap this one up for real this time. I'm going to ask you one more question because I think it's really important. What motivates your creativity? Because, you know, for somebody that's in the younger generation, you're about one of the most motivated individuals I've run across in terms of like your creativity never stops. Like your ideas, I don't even know where they come from. I don't know if it's like divinely they're like put into your brain, but and you work at a pace that's kind of insane as well. Like you'll be working on weekends and nights, and you just have so much passion. So explain your creative process.
Yeah, so I'd say...
And what you do. Like, explain what you do, too.
The passion behind the process.
Yeah.
So I'd say a lot of it comes from an old soul, and a lot of it, I'd say, comes to me. But at the end of the day, I'd take it back to when I was, like, 14, and I was in a depression state. But I feel like that was put upon me by another individual. So when I was in this relationship, she was very depressed, you know, cutting herself and stuff like that. But I wasn't like that, but because she was in that and I was just surrounding myself in this relationship, we hung out all the time 24/7, I just became like that. I became this fake depression came out of nowhere and all this stuff, and I started doing it or whatever. But I think the realization came to it, if you were ever going to off yourself, you're going to do something like that, wouldn't you rather spend your time doing the things that you think are fun or creative on earth? Because you could easily just waste your entire life, end it here, and it would just be like, the chances of us even being here in the first place are like 0 to none. So I would rather just, whatever it is, you go jump off a building, doing skydive, whatever you think is fun, you know, go on the fanciest restaurant, you know, go max out a credit card, do whatever you want, but don't off yourself, don't feel like you have to do that. And that was kind of with my thing with now is if I ever feel like I'm in a state of non-creativity or in a depression state, just remember, like, this is your only, this is our one shot in life, our time. We don't get more of it, we don't get less of it, you know, we just get the time that we have now. So it's, what are we going to use that time for? And then kind of the way I do that creative process is like
your videos.
Our videos, and it starts with a bit of things. Like you have to have something inside of you that makes you want to create these things. You have to stand behind what you preach, because I'll tell you, if I was doing this for the car dealership that I worked for before, they would be probably half-assed videos and stuff, because I don't stand behind the message that we're portraying. So I think having belief in the things that you're doing is one of the biggest things, because you could just be doing it but not believing in it, then you know you're not putting in your full heart's desire.
Yeah, and what I see too is in terms of the videos you create, because you have this talent, and I've seen it, like, even in a short time, develop, like, just exponentially. Like, just whatever you're tapping into is this, like, it's the beauty of your own soul, but you're just making these amazing works of art, you know, and not everybody's going to understand that. And we've had enough dialogue that I understand your vision and where you're going, and the artist in you.
Yeah.
And I think when you can tap into that energy of, you know, who am I, and what are my gifts, my unique gifts that I can bring to the world that will help to heal it, to teach it, to help to bring joy to others. All of those things just, it's like it lights the creative process on fire, because you have this fire within to then make your mark on the world. And I know you're doing that in so many impactful ways.
Yeah, and then surround yourself by like-minded individuals, because that's the biggest thing. If you're tying yourself to yourself or low energies, then you're not going to have that creative thinking, unfortunately. You really do have to be in that space to create. So.
Absolutely. Okay, well, we're going to end this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I loved what you were bringing up about the depression and everything. I think the next series, we're going to do something a little bit, I don't want to call it darker, but it's necessary. So you can watch for that video as well.
See you guys.